Okay, so I decided to buy a KVM, one that functions at 4K. So I thought, well, since I'm getting it, let's give a review for other people who might be interested in it as well. So this is the PWAY SH0401K. You can get it off of Amazon, and I'll show you that link below in the video. So in the box there's manual, well, somewhat of a manual, well, just kind of a sheet of paper, but it does tell you how to connect the computers up. It does tell you how to interface to your keyboard, mouse, and display. And if you have really good eyes, you can probably read the warranty, which says that it's good for 1 year. Lifelong maintenance. Not really sure what that means. So here it is. Let's see if they give any other details. Nope. Just what you usually expect. So the 1 KVM, 4 pieces of cable, power adapter, and a user manual. So I guess this is the user manual. Here's the KVM. Yep, just like the picture on YouTube. There's all the connections on the back, PC 1, 2, 3, 4. This is out to the display. Oh, look at that. They're using micro USB for the 5-volt power. More and more devices today are using micro USB for power. I guess their power is low enough that they can do that. So this is pretty good. Here's your keyboard and mouse would go on the front of the device, which sort of suggests it needs to be pointed towards you. So you couldn't, like, have it sideways or have it any other direction. So it has to kind of point towards you, sort of. My plan is to actually put this underneath my desk. Oh, look, they do have mounting holes. So it would be neat if they had brackets. So let's take a look at what else is in the box. 1, 2, 3, 4 cables. These are USB. So this is a USB printer. If you can see that, USB printer type cables. So this side hopefully goes into the back of this. Yeah, perfectly. So this goes in the back and the other side goes to your computer, which is kind of nice because that means there's hubs inside this device because you have 1 USB to your computer, but you have 4 on the front of this. So that's kind of really nice. And also the power cord, which is micro USB. Well, it would have been nice if they had some sort of bracket for this. They got the holes for a bracket. It would be really nice if they had a bracket in there. I might have to rig something up because I definitely want to put this underneath my desk so I can reach it from underneath and kind of put all the wires underneath to make it look dressed out and look good. So we'll hook this up and then we'll see how it works. So I went down to the local hardware store, picked up 4mm screws. They're about 3/8 inch long, and that should be my mounting screws. The other thing is, recently I've done some ready to assemble cabinets for my kitchen. So I took one of the brackets that came with that, drilled a hole so that it'll properly line up, and so now I have my mounting brackets. And I can mount this under my desk. So if I'm going to hook up several computers, I decided to get a dock. I'll leave a link for this. It's actually quite heavy heavier than I thought it would be. Obviously a tool for adjustment. There you go. It actually looks pretty nice. And it's pretty hefty. It's pretty weighty. So it's just made out of what appears to be like steel. I mean, it's pretty heavy. It doesn't seem like aluminum. And they're adjustable, so it's with the tool, so you can adjust it to the thickness of your laptop. So I'm going to put 2 laptops standing in this, and then one laptop will be on the side. So I'll have 3 total computers on my system. But I really like the fact that this soft underneath here. It's adjustable, of course, needs to be, and it's pretty hefty. So hopefully it'll hold both of those computers standing up. I'm going to put a PC laptop and a MacBook Pro as well. Okay, well, I've got it wired up with 3 computers now. First is a PC, then a Mac, and then another PC. The first 2 here are my personal, and then my work computer. The box is now sitting under. The most interesting thing that I found here is this is the power cord. It's not required. It is obviously getting power if one of the computers is on. It's getting power from USB and functioning from that, which is great. So just to show you, I'll use the keyboard, and it's hit the shift lock twice, and then press a number like 2, which is the second computer, which switches over to the Mac, and then to 3, which changes over to the business computer. Now, down here, I can push 1, or I can push the second button, or I can push the third button, and you see that it works. I think it's really nice, and it's really interesting that these devices make the computers think that the monitor is on at all times, that the USB devices that are there at all times, so they don't complain that anything's been removed. They don't think that there's any problem with the system. They just think everything is okay, and that's really nice. I like the fact that they take care of that. I was surprised, though. Again, I'll say I'm surprised that the device actually functions without even being plugged into power, which just means there's one less power device that you have to plug into your strip. Right now everything is really a mess down there, but that's okay because I'm going to clean it up later, and I'm going to get it all neat and ready. So anyways, again, you can use the keyboard. You can use the buttons below to change it, but it works really good. You can't see it from this camera, but this is a 4K display. Okay, well, finally completed the installation. There's definitely some things that I learned from all this that's important. When you plug in a USB from a computer and that computer is on, that charges, or it powers the KVM. So what that means is, if you've got everything plugged in and you do what I did, which is change from a 1080p monitor to a 4K monitor, the computers all think they're still looking at the same display, because the KVM is telling the computer, hey, I'm a display, I'm this display. It was the X 233, which is the model number of my previous display. So I now have a Samsung 4K, and I actually had to turn off the KVM and wait for it to stay off for like half an hour, and then start plugging in each of the 3 computers one at a time to make sure that the display recognized them. I found that interesting and exactly how it should behave, considering it's trying to act like the computers, or like the display is never disconnected. So it's done a great job for me. I'm very happy. All 3 computers are running at 4K now. Did take a few steps to, kind of disconnect them and then connect them one at a time. Go into either, the device manager or into the system settings of the Mac to make sure that it recognizes there's a different display. Once it recognized it was a different display, everything worked fine. Okay, so just keep that in mind, that you don't even need the power plug, because as long as one of the computers is on, the system is running. Now it's possible that it is using the USB to power circuitry in one channel at a time. That's a possibility, because I did hook them up one at a time. So I didn't hook them all up at once and check their monitor settings. Anyways, I hope this helps. KVM is great, sitting underneath the desk. I'm gonna dress out the wires and make everything look really good, and off I go. 4K display with all 3 of my computers. One is a PC. It's not a very expensive one. It does 4K. It doesn't have any fancy hardware in it. It has, I think, an Intel 620 processor. My business computer has a 520 processor, and the Mac has probably the same thing. I think it's got a 650. So it's basically the graphics that's part of the Intel chip. Good enough to run 4K on a second display and HD on the other display. So I'm happy. I think it's pretty funny. I'm trying to get used to this now. After it switches to 4K, all the windows are tiny. The fonts are tiny. I guess it's a preferences to how large the fonts you want on the display. So as I'm sitting here, I'm realizing I have my computers folded up, so I can't get access to their webcams. So I think the next step is to find out, can I hook up a USB webcam to the KVM, and each computer, when I switch from computer to computer, has access to that webcam. I think it's going to work. Anyways, maybe I'll update the video and let you know, but I think you have enough information now to make a decision to go out and use it. Okay? Thanks. Subscribe. It helps me out. Thank you.